Hey guys, so the main reason for this video right now is to show you how we charge the markers.
Yes.
Charging the verbal markers is creating a conditioned response to these sounds, yes and good. So first, before we can start teaching our dog anything, we need our dog to be engaged with us. And so how we get engagement is we get a dog that wants something from us. So right now, Kay is using a pretty high fat value food reward, and also our dog is only going to eat through this, through these games, through this process. Now, Xochi here is very reactive to dogs, new dogs and dogs on leash. She can't, and new people. So before we can address any of that, we want to create a relationship where we are more relevant and that our dog is used to taking our direction. So to get there, we're getting our dog in a space where she wants something from us, right? And once we get that focus, we're just rewarding for that focus. Now, Xoch here is giving a nice sit. So if the dog is ready to actually offer a behavior, we're going to go ahead and reward that behavior, but we're always going to insist on the eye contact before we say the yes. So right now, Kay is charging the marker yes.
Yes.
She's being very careful to separate her body language from the verbal marker because we really want our dog to hear the verbal marker. And what happens with dogs is that we'll get overshadowing if we use our words and our body movement at the same time. A dog's primary form of communication is body language. Okay? So if we use the body language, that's fine. If we say the word at the same time, our dog is going to be a lot slower to get that conditioned response from the word. So our dog hears the word yes, and almost immediately, definitely within half a second, maybe even less, we're moving backward, or we're saying the verbal marker, and then immediately giving the body language, moving backward. Now, the reason we use these two verbal markers and we use this movement first is because the movement is motivating. It creates enthusiasm with our dog. It is a self-fulfilling behavior to chase down and seize the food. It really taps into their prey drive. So we're adding a bit of a prey element to the reward delivery. And by doing so, we are becoming the source of one of our dog's primal needs. And that's one of those primal needs is connected to their prey drive. Okay? So by using the yes marker to create enthusiasm, by the same token, we're going to use the good marker to create calm.
Good.
So yes becomes the release marker and good becomes the continuous marker.
Good.
So by saying good and bringing the food right to Xochi's mouth, we're telling Xochi, I like what you're doing.
Good.
Keep doing it.
I want to note too that when I started this exercise, I started with bringing the treat to my chest to get her to look up at me. But now that she's understanding that I want the eye contact and she's doing it consistently, I can then move the treat, make it a little bit more challenging for her, can move the treat behind my back. And that's what I'm doing now.
That's great. Great point, Kay. Thank you for mentioning that. So there are a lot of other little elements that are going on here. One is the way Kay is holding the treat. We'll show you that later.
Good.
The other is our reward delivery schedule. You know, sometimes Kay is going to be jackpotting Xochi with, 2 or 3 or even more treats. And the next time she may do only just 1 or just 2. And by making it variable, by giving several treats sometimes, 1 or 2 other times, we are creating more engagement. Because what happens with the dog is, our dog doesn't know when the reward event is going to end. And that brings up another point. What we're creating with this exercise, with this game, so to speak, is we are creating a reward event rather than just depending on that one single reward to mark a behavior. What we're really doing here is we are charging markers so that the markers themselves can replace the reward at the later stages of training.
So good.
Okay, so by creating a conditioned response, that means we are creating an involuntary response. And it's okay. Right now, Zoch is kind of jumping up, being a little rambunctious, and we're okay with that in the beginning because we're trying to avoid any kind of conflict. You notice there we haven't introduced our third marker, which is nope. That will be a punishment marker, which will come much later in the training as we start to add challenges. Right now, the game is sit down and look at me. And then you get rewarded. So imagine, if you will, for a moment, that that you are distracted, and Kay or I walk up behind you and we give you a little tap on the shoulder, and then we give you something that you value, say $5. If we do this over and over, there's gonna be a conditioned response created to when we touch you on the shoulder, and as we get that behavior, that focus that we want from these kind of games, we can start to add challenges incrementally. And what we're doing is we're getting a dog that's so used to taking our direction, so used to taking our. Oh,
that's okay.
That happens sometimes.
I put it her instead of I went to yes, sir.
And we all do that sometimes. My point was going to be that we're going to get a dog that is conditioned to taking our guidance and receptive to our direction. Because in the end, what this amounts to is that we're always helping you win these games. We're always helping you. And so when we give you information, that's going to be relevant to you, and you're going to know that we're like a coach that's always helping you, a life coach, if you will. Okay, so this is the beginning of, this is just how you charge the markers.
We've created great engagement, great enthusiasm. You see, she really wants to be working with me. She's having fun. She's loving this.
We're not going to worry about that jumping right now. Like I said, we're just going to avoid correction, avoid conflict, create engagement, create enthusiasm for this relationship. As we build on the relationship, we can add challenges. As we strengthen that relationship and add the challenges, we can add criticism. And then our dog's confidence will not be crushed by the criticism. Okay, it's very similar to training a child or teaching a child a sport. She just swallowed a dry one there.
You gotta chew it up, girl.
So just like you would train a toddler or teach a toddler a sport, say basketball, you're not going to call the toddler out, the 5-year-old out for traveling, right? You're not going to call the 5-year-old out for every little foul that exists in the professional sport. You're going to add those rules later as you build the child's confidence and build their interest and enthusiasm for playing the game. When they really want to play the game, then you can add a challenge, and the child's confidence won't be damaged, and they'll be much more receptive.
You want to show how I'm holding the treat?
Okay, so
my hands are a little slimy at this point, but
the way we hold our treat is we put it right there, right next to the index finger and the middle finger, and then we cover it with our thumb. And then the dog, we just remove it. Kay, would you do that one more time, but don't move your thumb right away?
Sure.
So you'll see that Zoch here, when she holds it like that, she covers it. Zoch can push her, and she can lure her, and now she can move her thumb, and yes. Right? So we want to be able to control the treat so that if our dog breaks the behavior as we're delivering the treat, we can actually add that verbal marker, nope, and withhold the treat. Good girl. Right? We withhold the treat if she breaks her sit when we're gooding her, or when she learns to down. If she breaks her down as we're rewarding her, we're going to say nope. We're going to withhold the food reward until she goes back into that down, and then we're going to reward her. And that's how we're going to charge the marker nope. By doing this meticulously, by taking it easy, by avoiding stress, by avoiding conflict, we're going to create a communication system which is seamless and just very smooth and easy on the dog. That's going to make every other step of the process smooth and easy as well. When we add pressure as communication, when we add the palm collar, and ultimately when we add the e-collar, we're going to be able to add those in a very gentle way that just mimics the slightest touch, just like the example I gave you with touching you on the shoulder and you turn to look at me, and then I immediately reward you. This marker system is so powerful. It allows us to mark behaviors instantly with just a word that says to the dog, that communicates to the dog, I like what you just did. And that is a very, very powerful tool in all of the training and in our relationship. Clear communication. All right?
Yeah.
You think we need to add anything there, babe?
No, I think that was great. She's doing amazing. She's doing so good.
Good job.
Good engagement.
Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you. Remember, create engagement first, then we'll go on to the marker game. We have other videos up on YouTube showing the marker system as we use it to train place and recall and all kinds of other stuff. Once we get engagement, once I have somebody focusing on me, then I can actually teach them new things. And that's all we're going for right here, right now. Thanks for watching.
Good.